Hey guys, so first off, I'm sorry I look all ragged and sweaty and whatnot. It's just I'm up here in Alberta, Canada, and we're going through a bit of a massive heat wave right now. But uh, but getting into the chapter itself, first and foremost, let's talk about Rebecca's current predicament. Because despite what was said, this whole situation has more the markings of of what I can only describe as a pretty much precognitive dream. In fact, the future Noah more or less even says it. However, whatever she has to do to wake up, she needs to figure out soon, or judging by Lyra's fascination with Rebecca's legs, that dream is about to become a very horrific reality, even more so than the dream itself. But more than that, the one thing that's popped into my head with this whole dream at the end is I'm really thinking ahead right now of what's going to happen after Rebecca wakes up, because I get the feeling this is Mashma's way of telling us that the moment Rebecca wakes up is the moment that is the moment is the moment she'll have awakened a new power, in this case the ability to peer into the future. And if that's the case, then from where I'm standing, it's a power that in some ways is sorely needed. Because depending on how, because for me right now, depending on how the mechanics of this ability could work, this could potentially be this could not only be an ability that could potentially help in alleviating the after effects of Reverse's time world jumping abilities, as she wouldn't need to use it as much, and therefore not pretty much fear of like shaving years off her life, or reducing in age or whatnot, or whatever that ability is. But even more so than that, if this ability works out the way I think it's supposed to, then Rebecca could potentially gain the ability to predict the flow of events before they happen. And if that is the case, well, while I wouldn't want this to be like an end all be all problem solver or solution, the fact is, just pretty much like thinking in our heads for a minute, and just examining the whole possibility of Rebecca having the ability to, in order to just pretty much perceive the future, and know just basically how baseline events play out before they happen. That pretty much could allow everyone, in order to be better prepared for future threats even before they happen. And and even more so is they wouldn't be taken off guard as they would if Rebecca were to pretty much were to use reverse, because the pretty much thing about reverse is that pretty much it's one of those reverse is kind of one of those things where she has where she has the precognitive, where she has just memories of what happened in the past, and she can only operate on those memories. But if she were to, for example, if she were to know what the future events were, yet the actions of the Eden Zero crew could be a lot more precise in how they act on future events, and they could even predict, and this honestly could be, like, I think, a vital power in terms of knowing just pretty much what Ziggy is planning right now. Like, I think if anything, I think that this power is going to be vital towards, towards predicting what exactly Ziggy's next actions are going to be. Um, but in just in a general sense, if 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 Rebecca could somehow master this power, if it is what I think it is, then they can truly prevent what happened with Shiki getting shot by, like, events from happening again, like what happened with Shiki getting shot by Draken Joe, or what Shuri did to the Starshines. Like, if they had this kind of power, that they can more better prevent those kind of things from happening in the future. Uh, with that said, this chapter was actually a little weird for me, because in a lot of ways it gave me what I love about this series, while simultaneously feeling like a little bit of a missed opportunity. And what I mean by that is, on one hand, we have Weisz basically cluing into the idea that what was perceived as hypnosis was pretty much just Nasseh controlling people through electrical signals and surges. And it is stuff like this that I really love, because just because first thing is that obviously is that it is that it obviously goes a long way towards explaining how Nasseh's power can affect machines as well as humans. But it's through those very simple explanations where I feel Mashima sets up the dynamics of a fight so well in this fight, sets up the dynamics of a fight so well in this series, because by taking in very simple information, the characters are able to use that to more easily counteract their opponent, as proven how Weisz knew that the way to counteract Nasseh's power was to block off the path of that electrical signal by activating his suit again. Again, this is what I love, because it really shows something I think people often dismiss, which is Mashima's capabilities as a writer. Because even when he fumbles, or even if he is just using like simple concepts, he does know how to effectively use those simple concepts, even when he fumbles. Even when he just fumbles a little bit. Now, as I said, that's the part I like. I really like how the whole setup of this fight was presented and whatnot. Where I feel Mashima has kind of already dropped the ball a little bit with this fight, though, is by immediately by giving Nasseh his just this robotic suit. And it's not that I don't outright hate the idea. This is a more futuristic world and setting, so it's to be expected with stuff like that. But I just think that Mashima could have gotten a lot more creative in terms of how in what he would give Nasseh to fight back. Like I like with Nasseh, for example, I kind of expected something a little more downsized, like gauntlets that would allow him to focus his power, like mechanical gauntlets that will allow him to focus his power. But yeah, Mashima just kind of went again for just a bare bones basic robot suit. And again, don't get me wrong, it fits within the world we know, but it's kind of getting a little. It's one of those things that is getting a little repetitive too. So it's like I want Mashima to get a little more creative with what he does outside of just the robotic suits kind of thing. Now, going back to the whole Rebecca being stuck in this future dream, this with the whole setup of pretty much Lyra, going to use Rebecca as her plaything. This whole situation in itself is a bit more of a brainbuster compared to something like what happened with Nasseh. Because frankly, from where I'm standing, Lyra is literally keeping Rebecca stuck in that dream because of her ether tampering abilities. So I'm just not sure how Rebecca can even get out of here from the other side, unless Noah has some crazy ass device or power or ability or something to help. Which, knowing how sneaky that guy is and how sneaky that guy is and how good he is at keeping secrets, I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, the core, she sure as hell right now can't use her powers unless it's all just part of some illusion that she needs to break. But yeah, just the scene of seeing Rebecca in absolute terror, knowing she's unable to use her ether gear, was absolute horror. Was kind of horror perfection on Mashima's part. Like honestly, that's pretty much the other thing I'll always give Mashima credit for with Eden Zero, is that he's really using this series to get the most out of bodily horror, and he really knows how to use it effectively. Like ever since the whole thing with pretty much Hermit with Hermit and what her past was on her past was, and now what happened to her with Dr. Mueller, like that shit was horrific, and he's still continuing that now. So like it's something I will always give the guy credit for. Like I think it's one of his best. He's weirdly good at doing the bodily horror stuff, and I kind of appreciate that about him. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to push the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to also share the video around, guys. Dead and that doing me. Signing off. Later.